Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz drummer Florian Arbenz. He spoke with Neon Jazz from his base in Basel, Switzerland about many things, like his latest album he is a part of with his twin brother called 2017's Vein Plays Revel. He's got a solid backbone in classical music, but he loves jazz. He talks about his career and a great many things. So get to know him and dig this interview, my friends. Hey, thank you for taking a minute out today. I'm glad we got to hook up.
No problem, yeah. I'm happy that it works out.
Yes, absolutely. So, what is going on with you in your beautiful land today?
Actually, it's autumn. It's getting kind of colder. And if you ask, like, on a cultural life, is like in Europe, like the summer festival season is over, and like the autumn concert season is about to start. Yeah, so that's more or less the vibe right now. So we pack our stuff and we will go on tour very soon. So let me ask you this. I heard the latest album, 2017's Vein Plays Revel. Talk to me about this album. How do you guys feel about it? Actually we feel very good about it. I mean, it was a kind of a chance we got from this Challenge Records to record a new CD, and we just released a CD which was called the Chamber Music Effect. This was a CD with trio tunes of the Wayne Trio. So we had to think about something new or something special, and as we all studied like classical music, we came across Revel, Debussy, Stravinsky, those guys, because we liked them very much. For like musical reasons, it was just closest to us to arrange Revel. We just get stuck with the Revel stuff. We also wanted to play for a long time with Andy Shepherd, so that was just a perfect reason to collaborate with him for this one tune and for the bolero. Yeah. Right on.
So, were you born and raised in Zurich?
No, in Basel. But it's just, Switzerland is so small. It's just 60 kilometers from Zurich. It's just right on the corner of Switzerland. We have with a bike like 10 minutes to France and 10 minutes to Germany. So it's a very for Europe, kind of an international corner.
Beautiful. That's one of the... I've been to Italy and been to England, France, and Switzerland is on my list. I would love to get over there.
Okay, great. So you have to take a lot of money with you.
Yes, I bet I do.
Expensive country.
So talk to me about your life in Switzerland, how you got so involved in jazz and the drums.
Me and Michael, we are actually twin brothers, and we grew up in a very musical family, classical musical family. Actually, Thomas, our bass player, also has classical musicians in his family. His grandfather was a bassoon player. And actually, Basel used to be a big hotspot for classical music, as one of the big supporters of classical music, a guy coming from the chemistry, which is very strong in Basel, and he had a lot of money, and he supported a lot of artists. He used to support painters like Chagall or Picasso, like those guys, and he also used to support a lot of the classical composers like Stravinsky and those kind of scene. He attracted a lot of good musicians. There are also really good museums here in Basel, so it was kind of a hotspot for this kind of classical life, and that's the environment we grew up. But we met as teenagers, musicians like Kurt Leitzi or Famadou Domoye from the Chicago Art Ensemble. They used to hang out a lot in Basel, so that's how we came to the jazz music and how we started to love this music, by hanging out with those guys. And later on, I also used to play a lot with Kirk, and still have a very nice relationship with him. So we had kind of both kind of music in our childhood and teenager years. We had the classical environment from our parents, and the jazz environment by hanging out with some of the guys.
So I want to ask you this. Did you always know that it was going to be music for you? Was that kind of something you wanted to do with your life?
Yeah, actually kind of, yes. It's like when you grow up in a circus family or stuff like that. So I didn't really choose this profession till I was 18 years old, but it was always felt very natural and just easy to do it. So it was kind of just normal for me to do it. So, I didn't think about it too much.
So talk to me a little bit about your career. So when you decided to get into jazz, how did things kind of take off to get to the point where you're at today as a musician?
I have kind of an unusual career because I study classical music. Actually, being a full-time jazz musician is kind of my third musical career. I started off with making a lot of contemporary music. I played with some guys like Heinz Holliger, which is very famous in Europe, or I also played with Pierre Boulez and those guys. So I was really very much into this contemporary, abstract music, but I missed a little bit the soul and the rhythm. So I changed to like more kind of chamber music, orchestra stuff. I was playing in the NDR orchestra in Hamburg for a long time and the chamber orchestra in Zurich. We toured a lot with those orchestras, but at the end, in my heart, I always was kind of a jazz musician, and I also played jazz during my whole life. We were like playing from early 20 years with Greg Osby, and started playing later with Dave Liebman. And playing with those cats and masters, I really felt that I have to just stop doing what I don't feel to do, and I switched completely to the drums. So that's for the last 10 years. I'm really kind of a drummer, but I must say in my playing all these relicts of classical music, like playing forms and sounds and melodies, this stuck with me kind of. So now I'm kind of almost full-time job playing with Wayne, and I also have like other projects I play sometimes. I'm still playing with Kurt Lightsey, of course, and I play sometimes with Jorge Vistel, trumpet player from Cuba, which lives in Madrid, and I'm doing different stuff like this. Yeah.
Wonderful. So let me ask you this: why do you love jazz?
And that's a very difficult question. I mean, why do you love spaghetti, or why do you love? Why do you love the mountains or the beach? I mean, it just makes me good, And I actually remember as a little child, I got across a recording with all the old cats, like it was the Esquire concert. I don't know if this is known. I mean, it's with Louis Armstrong. It was Lionel Hampton playing, Red Norval playing, Art Tatum playing. And I just knew kind of when I heard that this is kind of, I fell in love with this music. It just made me feel right and good. And I also very much like the approach of jazz, that nothing is fixed. You have to communicate with other guys. You can communicate with the young guys, with old guys. You can get into a lot of different environments. So that's something I really like about jazz music.
So were there any live shows that swung through your area or in Europe that you witnessed that really changed you, jazz shows specifically?
Yes, that's not so easy to say, but on one hand, like a live or very close experience I had with Kurt Lightsey and Famadou Domoye. I mean, they changed my life a lot, but also because I heard them and hung out with them. I also was hanging out at the time with Ed Thigpen. That was, still is one of the greatest experiences I ever had, and a great inspiration. And of course, I was very lucky that I heard old masters like Dizzy Gillespie or Art Blakey or Miles Davis. So these were all like very important concerts for me, or important inputs. But I still have that from time to time, that I hear drummers, especially, like Chris Dave, or I hear Eric Harland, and I still get some inputs which are really deep and interesting, and changed my way of playing. So that's a great thing. That never stops. That's really very nice.
Right on. So let me ask you this. Everyone has a perception of who you are, your family, your friends, those that you play live for, but when you wake up and you face the world, who do you think you are?
Very difficult question, very deep question. I maybe should write a book about this. As musicians, maybe, or being on the stage, we have to give something, and we have to give some feelings, we have to give some maybe ideas about something, or we have also helped people to feel good or to take them to another world. And this is the one side of giving, and there is also one side of receiving. And I mean, like having a family, like having kids, I mean, this, or having friends, this is just people which are, or for me, they give me the strength or also the inspiration and the feelings which I can after that use or give once I'm on the stage. I think this is something very important. I don't think that I'm really important artist or something like that, but I think it's like a transition of moods, of feelings, of ideas, and this kind of abstract stuff, because the music is not like in words. I mean, it's more a kind of a feeling-based art, I think. So that's how I see it, more or less.
Beautiful. I think that's a great way to sum everything up. I appreciate you giving me some insight into the new album, into your career, and taking some time out. I'm glad we can coordinate this and get it taken care of.
Hey, thank you. Bye-bye. All the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to yet another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Switzerland, New York, Kansas City, and spots all over America, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Florian for his time, his stories, and his honesty. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.